Hello everybody, Sim Privyet. Today I'm going to work on the tooltips and the dialog boxes for viewing the creatures in the castle and in the hero screen. So just to show you what I'm talking about is this is the tooltip and this is the tooltip and this is the dialog box. It's animated in the dialog box with just the standard walking or flying animation. If we recruit some creatures, we get the same behavior here in the garrison, and we can dismiss creatures. But you cannot dismiss the last creature in a hero's army. Instead, you have to dismiss the hero when they are not in the castle. So that's how you get rid of the last hero or the last creatures in a hero's army. And if we just test this out quick and we go, let's dismiss our dwarves, and then here we can't dismiss the last one. So that's interesting behavior, but we can dismiss gem there. So let's look inside the heroes.agg file. There's a view army ICN which has that box. And it's really not that complicated. It has a quantity and then dismiss, and this is like the quantity box, the dismiss button, and the exit button, and that's pretty much it. Let's see, pulling up the old build. Currently, I can select and swap creatures around, but I'm right-clicking, I get nothing. Left-clicking, I am able to select creatures. But nothing. So that's kind of where we're at on these. So we're gonna go in here and dump in a bunch of our info. I created before troop move .h and .cpp, and I'm probably going to try and cram it in there. So I gave it the troop move documentation. I also brought in battle resources, because one thing I should show you is that when we go into a battle, we do have it working in the battle. And we still have the music playing. The ambient music is playing. That's another bug that I thought was not supposed to be there. I thought I fixed that, but maybe it got reintroduced. But anyway, so I have it working in battle screen and without the dismiss button, and so that's why I'm dropping in my battle screen, screens, and very similar to the dialog box to the battle screen, but they have the possibility of dismissing the creatures in the garrison and the creatures in the hero's army, if and only if it's not the last creature in the hero's army. Basically explaining that the dismiss button is 2 and 3 in view army, and then explaining what the right click does, what the left click does. Looks like I have pasted my same description twice in there. I dropped in this dialog bin format and army win format to show, basically I've had luck getting the correct XY offset values from this army win bin file. Before, I manually estimated those values and got it pretty close. I made some adjustments here or there, but I've found that it's sometimes just dropping this in with the binary dialog box layout file will give me the correct values. And I'm saying, well, these are I have the approximate values, but if you can find something better, use that. And then I just restate again what I want. So again, just being able to right click, bring up the dialog box, left click, bring up the tooltips, and when the exit button is pressed, you exit. When the dismiss button is pressed, you dismiss that army. And so it goes in, it's going to add ArmyViewDialog and ArmyTooltip to troop move H and CPP. And then it's going to hook them into game main CPP. Goes through, it's looking at battle resources, and it's having trouble importing the speed label because that's a static in battle screen. It's also having trouble importing the some of these images from battle screen. So it's trying to import it from battle screen, which technically will work, but it's a little dirty. What I should actually do is have some structure above this that battle screen imports, and then castle screen and hero screen can also draw from. So this is one of those areas where the AI is just kind of plowing forward, making a decision, and a real engineering decision is to pull it out and have it be loaded correctly across multiple files. So we're going to have to refactor this in the future. But it basically, we add the right mouse button and left mouse button hooks in game main, which is going to happen for capture. This is gonna capture the behavior for these tooltips, and we're gonna have this army view close tooltip. So this is when I let go of the right mouse button. This closes the army view, and this opens it. And then same pattern for castle screen garrison and hero army rows. And then we also draw the troop system. We do a draw of the dialogue, which is the walk frame. So this actually is creating the dialog box that's animated that lets you exit or dismiss. And okay, it hit some tool limit, so it basically just goes through and implements all of this, telling me what it's going to do. And then it made the changes, lists the summaries. So I don't like that it included battle resources, but what, we can refactor that out later. It's a little bit of work, but it's not the end of the world. It's in engineering terminology, it would be called technical debt, and at least we understand what was done and why it was done incorrectly. I mean, I don't know if I would call it incorrectly, because I think it is going to work. And why don't we actually just pull up the build and say, let's have a check what we're doing here. Here's the build. So we load it up. That is working. It's adding in the blank animation frame, which was a problem I've had before. I have a bunch of issues with the animation frames. We can just get this guy out of the army and we can dismiss him. What's interesting now is I have lost the ability to move troops, though. So how did that work in the original game? Because so now I have these working, but I've lost the ability to do troop movements. And can I do some splitting? No. So that's almost working. But we lost the ability to do troop movements, maybe because we put it in troop move. So let's just check the behavior in the original game and see what the actual mouse definition is, because this is probably a pretty easy fix. So it's double clicking. So single clicking is for selecting and troop movement, and double clicking brings up that box. And let's do a quick run up here and just double check that our battle screen configuration is correct, because maybe that's why it was wrong. So we have to double click to bring up that box, and no, it's single click in battle screen. And that's probably why. Okay, well, that answers that. So we lost the troop movement because we didn't do the double click. And I'm currently out of tokens right now for this moment, so I'm gonna have to wait a few hours to fix it. But I'll record an update and tack it on to the end of this video when we get to that point. So pause for now. So following up, we had this problem where now suddenly we could bring up the dialog box and the tooltips, but we can no longer move creatures. So the single click is now bringing up this screen, and we lost that ability. So I mentioned this to the AI. I said I made a mistake in my specification. The dialog box for creatures in the garrison and the hero army only opens on a double click. The single click is still needed to select for troop movement and splitting in troop move MD, troop move CPP, troop move.h. Can you help me fix that so they only open on double click in the hero screen and in the castle screen? In the battle screen, they're supposed to open on a single click. That one is fine, so don't change it. So it comes up with this double click millisecond function. Basically, if you click twice within 400 milliseconds, it's a double click, and then that's going to open the ArmyViewDialog. So it gives me this functionality, and let's see what that build did. It took us to this, I believe. Nope. It's still broken. So this was the same one. I think it was actually the next build that fixed this. So now we're able to click and move. We're able to click and split. We can still get the dialog box, but we can't get the, we can get the tooltip box, but we can't get the dialog box. So the double click just clicks to select and clicks to unselect. So what I think is going on there is you're clicking to select, clicking to unselect, and when you try and double click, that's what's being read. And in the program, the double click reading should actually be placed before the click to select for movement or splitting. And so that's what I think I suggest here. Maybe we have to check for the double click first before selection. Exactly right, blah, blah, blah. I can't really tell if this is the AI winding me up and saying, oh, you're so smart, you're exactly right. I don't know. I'm always suspicious and paranoid now when the AI is like, you're exactly right, because then it goes off and does something incredibly wrong. So it's basically checking for the conflict between selecting the troops and the double click. It gives me this new fix here. Let's see if this fixes the issue. Oh, that's strange. Okay, well, let's try this one. Okay, so I'm able to double click. We're still getting this flash of animation where it's animating the empty frame that's at the beginning of every animation file. I'm able to move groups around. I'm able to split. So that's all cool stuff. And tooltip works. This works. We can dismiss troops, move stuff around. Let's check the hero screen. Are we able to move things around? Yep. And we're able to bring this up as well as move them, but you have to double click a little faster. So I think it's working.